Now I'm going to show you, now that we've done some elements, if you want to modify these elements, that's the tab that I spoke about earlier, the modify tab. So you have different options. You have align, offset, mirror, that's the same that you have in AutoCAD, array, scale, you can trim and extend, and then trim a corner, rotate, copy. We've already done copy earlier. So I'm going to just run through some of them. So let's start with the copy again. So if I click on this, I can go and I say copy. I bring it down to that level or to that plane on the layout. Now, let's say I'm going to draw in another beam. Well, let's take that beam and I copy it over to here. Now I want this corner to basically meet. I don't want it to protrude through. So you press TR on your keyboard, or you go here where it says trim. So I click on the side where I want to keep the beam. So I want to keep this beam and I want to keep that beam. So I click and I click, and then it trims that for me. Now, let's say this beam, I only want it to extend to grid line D1. So now I go and I go here where it says trim and extend single element, or you can use the multiple element. I'm going to show you the difference now. Let's just copy this over a few times to show you the difference between the element of the options. So if I click on this one, it's a single element. So I click the line that I want the beam to go to, and once again you click on the side that you want to keep. If I click there, you see there's like a dotted line or a line that shows you where that beam is going to stop, and I click. Okay, now if I want to do that again, I need to click on this line again and do it again. The other way you can do this is where it's multiple elements. Click on this, you select the line, and then you can highlight both of them and release your highlight, and then it trims it back to there. Okay, then we can also drag this element like that. If it's attached there, it will move with it. Or you can click on this and just say move, and move it up. It snaps with the element. Then if I want this element to sit on this side of the beam, but I don't want to copy it, I just want to mirror it, there's two options. You can either say, I just hover over here, for mirror pick axis, or DM draw axis. So this first one, if you click on it, you need to select a plane that's already been created. So I can't, if I want to do it in the middle of this beam, I can't do it because you need to select a specific element that's already drawn. So if I click on this, I can mirror it. Before I do that, here at the top, you can say copy to tick it or not to copy it. So if I tick it, it will copy it like that or mirror it like that. If I say Control Z and I do the same thing, but I untick copy and I mirror, it's going to delete that one. Okay, so Control Z again. Now I'm going to show you the second mirror option. I click on that one. It's the same here. You can either copy it or not copy. Now here you can select the element you want to copy it or mirror it around. So you'll see if I move along here, it's going to snap to the middle of that wall or upstand beam. I'm going to click there. I want it to do 90 degrees to this, and I mirror. There it mirrors that one. Okay, then you can also split elements. It's this option here. If there's a door that needs to be there, can say split element, you click and you click again. Now it's actually created 3 segments. This beam is continuous. If I click on that one, 1, 2, 3. Now you can delete that. And then if you want a certain size door, you just click on that element, you move it back to here, and I say, let's say the door must be 2 meters wide. It brings in that. Or you can click, or you dimension it like that, click on it. I want to move it to 500. There we go. If you want to move that side, click this side and do the same. You see. Okay. Then you can also array elements. So I'm just going to delete these beams. If I want to array this beam along that line, I'm going to click on the beam, go here to array. Then there's a few options. You can do linear or you can do radial here at the top. And you can, if you tick this, it's gonna give you, it's gonna be in a group. If you untick it, it's not gonna be in a group. So now you can see here you select the number of that you want, but you can also type that in afterwards. Then move to means the second. If I click here and I say I want the second one, this is gonna set your array dimension. So if I want it at 1.5, say click, this is the second one. So all of the rest of them are going to be spaced at 1.5 meters. So if I want 10 of them, I press enter. And there you can see it's spaced at 1.5 meters at and 10 of them. You can change this again to 15. So now it's changed. So if you want to change that again, you just click on any of these beams, click there, make it 5. There we go. Now, just going to undo this to show you the second option. Go array again. So if I say instead of second, I say last. Okay. So now you need to click where you want to start and where you want to end. So I want to start here and I want to end maybe, let's say somewhere there, just as an example. Now there are 2 of them. So 1 is here, 2 is there. But in between, I want maybe, let's say 7. Then it gives you 7 of them. Then the spacing is obviously going to be at a random dimension depending on what, see, 3.5. So it was dependent on this dimension that you've set out from start point to end point. So this is obviously just examples. Then the other thing that I can show you is you get pinned elements and unpinned elements. So what that means is if I click on this element, it's currently not pinned because you can still pin it. So what it means by pinning an element is, if you know this is the final position of this element, I will pin it. Now you see there's this pin that's come up that says it's pinned. Now you can't move this element in any way. Can't move pinned element. Okay. Then if you want to unpin it, you can click on it and click there. Or you can just pin it again. Or you can come to the top here and unpin. And once again, you can also use the keyboard shortcuts. For pin it's PN and unpin it's UP. Okay, so that's mostly, oh, you can also rotate. Let me show you how that works. Then if I click here, I say rotate. Automatically the rotation goes to the center of any element. So if you don't want it to that center, you go to the top here and you say place. Now you can choose where do you want this element to rotate around. So I want it to, let's say maybe rotate around this endpoint, and then you click, you want it in this plane, click, and then you can rotate it at any degree. So you can rotate it and select the degree like that, or I can type in maybe 45 and it rotates it like that. Then you can also group elements. So if I click on that element and this element, I can group it. There it is, GP group. I call this maybe beams 1. I say enter. The reason for a group, it's almost the same as a block in AutoCAD, if you're familiar with AutoCAD blocks. So let's say these beams are the same for all the levels going down. I'm just going to show you the example. I'm going to copy the same beam group over to this side. Now, let's say something changes. You need to add a beam in this group. You click on it, you can see it's a group. You go and say edit group. Now I'm going to edit this group. I'm going to just do a random thing, copy this beam over, going to trim it there, and going to just make it stop there. Now, once I update this group, you'll see this group on the right hand side is also going to update. And I say finish. You see, it's updated exactly the same as the group that you've obviously edited, because it's the same thing. That's just easy if you don't want to do repetitive work. Then I think that's about it for this specific lesson. So I'll see you guys in the next video.